Sometimes yesterday can seem a million years away, and I'll forget exactly what to say when asked about my past. Time is my enemy.
Hello, it's Rick Phelps. It's February the 25th. It's Friday, which is good. Had a bad morning, but things are getting a little bit better now. Maybe I'm not going to get in that foggy stage, I hope, but I wanted to hurry up and get this video done. I wanted to talk today about, we've been on Memory People already this morning, and people are talking about dementia and this and that and the other, and being diagnosed with dementia. Well, here's my take on dementia, and it's not my take, it's what the neurologists and all my doctors have told me. Dementia is nothing more than a symptom, meaning a fever is a symptom of an infection. So dementia is a symptom of a cognitive impairment or a memory problem. Dementia is not a disease, it's a symptom. Now you're going to hear a lot of people that'll say that's not right and that's not correct, and that's okay. You know, everybody's got their own opinions or anything. I'm just saying, all the neurologists and all the doctors I've been to have talked to me about dementia, and they said dementia is not a disease. It's a symptom of a disease, which would be cognitive impairment, memory loss, Alzheimer's, whatever, things like that. So I wanted to touch on that, and again, that's just my take on it, and the doctors, what my doctors have told me. It's like anything else, you go to a bunch of doctors, you're going to get a bunch of different opinions, so that's the deal on that. Now another thing I wanted to touch on is a lot of people get hung up on the stages of Alzheimer's, and there's nothing wrong with that. But once again, if you get on the internet, you'll see, well, there's 7 stages, or there's 10 stages, or whatever, you know. My deal with the stages of Alzheimer's is I don't care about the stages. You are what you are. Everyone is different with this disease. I'm in what is known as the early stage, but I can tell you this, I've had days, many days, where I feel like I'm in the 8th, 9th, or 10th stage, if there even is one. So the categories and the stages, I don't put much creed in, because it all depends on just, it's a mind thing, and you could be in, one person could be in stage 4 3 or 4 days and then have 2 or 3 good days. So I don't know, I just wish, I always tell people, me personally, I don't get hung up on the stages. It doesn't matter to me. I'm either in, I have a good day or a bad day. You know, I don't worry about what stage I might be in, and I know that they have different stages, but it's nothing that I get hung up on, because like I said, I'm in the early stages, EOAD, and there are days that I'm sure I feel like I'm in whatever a person would feel like in the 4th or 5th stage. So I just don't get hung up on them too much. And then I was to talk about something we talked about last night at our caregiver support meeting. These picture frames that you can buy, you know, like Walmart or Best Buy, a lot of people have them. They're like a 9-inch frame. They're a computerized deal, and what you do, you download pictures from your camera into these picture frames, and they randomly play these pictures. I think we talked about that, and I think that's an excellent idea to have sitting around someone who is maybe in the later stages, and if you want to categorize them as being that. But this way, these pictures they play randomly, constantly. You can set them up to excuse me. You can set them up to change. The photos can change every 3 seconds, or 10 seconds, or 30 seconds, or whatever, and they can just play constantly. And these folks can see these pictures, and hopefully it'll bring back some memories and give them something to look at all day long, or whatever. You know, glance over them at them every now and then. And like I said, these pictures can be changed constantly. You can update them or leave this one in and change that one and add some kids to it, or add some old pictures that these people might remember, will spark memories back when, things like that. It's all good stuff. I think that's a good thing. And they're not real expensive either. They used to be, man, $150, $200, but I know I've seen them, the 9-inch ones, which is a nice size. We've got one, and a 9-inch one only runs, it's less than $50 now, and you can put, jeez, I don't even know. I think our holds something like 500 photos or something. It's a whole bunch, more photos than we ever have. So that's something to think about. And then I wanted to touch on something else that we talked about on memory. People's kind of busy this morning, but I've dealt with this when I was in EMS for a long time. People, when we would go to get calls to residents, and it'd be a nursing home, or, well, not really a nursing home, but elderly patient homes where they're still at home, I would notice that they always had throw rugs around the house, in the kitchen or the bathroom or wherever, front room, and this is a dangerous thing to have. I know when people get to a certain age, and everybody's different, but let's just go with like 70 years old or plus, they tend to, instead of walking, they tend to shuffle their feet, shuffle instead of actually picking their feet up and walking. And many, many calls I've been on in EMS where people have gotten tangled up in throw rugs that are down on the floor and fallen and broken a hip or broken their arm or wrist or whatever, trying to break their fall. And I always told people, and I tell them to this day, that if your parents or grandparents are living at home by themselves, or even if they're living with you, and you have throw rugs around, be aware of them, babies, because they get tangled up in these throw rugs and they cause falls. I've seen it. I don't know if I've seen it hundreds of times, but over 24 years, I know I've seen it way too many times that people have fallen and gotten broken hips and what have you from these throw rugs getting tangled up in them. And a broken hip is a serious injury. It's life-threatening. There's so many arteries and things in your hip area that it's very dangerous. So it's kind of off the memory thing, memory topic, but if you do have some throw rugs around and you have elderly people in the household, you might want to think about that, because it is, I've seen it many, many times, and it's dangerous. So, okay, mentioned a couple, three things there, the dementia thing, and like I said, this is just, once again, all these things are my opinion, but I do know the neurologists that I've been to, and all the doctors tell me and tell Phyllis June that, dementia is not a disease. Dementia is a symptom of a disease, being cognitive impairment, Alzheimer's, EOAD, or whatever. And like I said, there's maybe people going to argue that, and that's fine. Everybody's entitled to their opinion, but I hear a lot of these people saying, well, grandma has dementia, or it's not really Alzheimer's, it's dementia. Well, dementia is not a disease. It's nothing more than a symptom of a disease. Example, fever being a symptom of a, what did I say? Either fever would be a symptom of a infection. That's what I was trying to reach for, yeah. If you have a fever, that means your body is trying to fight off an infection, which the infection is the disease and the fever is the symptom of the disease. Kind of complicated, I guess, but that's what it is. So, all right, well, I hope everyone has a good day. My day started out a little foggy. I got up early again today. It's about 4:15 or 4:30, I guess, but I'll take a little nap maybe this afternoon. And it's terrible weather here in Ohio. I hope it's nice where you're at, and if it isn't, stay inside. So have a good weekend. And it's February the 25th. I think I've touched on everything I wanted to. I told you we went to support group last night. There was 13 people there, and that's a big group of people for our community. We live in a rather small community. I think we have about 12,000 people in the county, and generally we only have about 6 people at most there. But last night we had 13 there, and it was real good. They bounced a lot of questions off of me, being a patient. The support group we go to is for caregivers, but like I've said, and everybody should know by now, me and Phyllis June go. She goes as a caregiver, of course, and I go as a patient, and everybody else there is a caregiver. But it gives them an opportunity to see what I go through, and they get to bounce questions off of me. But once again, I always tell them, just because this is what I go through on a daily basis doesn't mean that your grandma or your mom or whoever has been diagnosed with EOAD or Alzheimer's may go through, because everyone is different with this disease. The same way, as I said earlier, the stages, there's different stages, but I just don't go too much on the stages. That's just a personal thing for me. I don't dwell too much on the 7 different stages. And like I said, if you get on the internet, you'll read that I've read up to there's 30 different stages of Alzheimer's. Well, I don't buy that at all, but that's what it says. So I tend to go with the 7 different stages, but I don't put much, I don't worry about the stages. So went over that. So, all right, everyone have a good weekend, and talk to you tomorrow. See you.